be your favorite word?
Favorite word? Wow, that's a, let me think for a second, huh? I think I love the word empathy.
Defines me. Zen.
Favorite word? Reinvention.
Fafda chutney jalebi is like a thing. So you must have heard a lot of people talk about how people celebrate Dashera because of Fafda jalebi.
I want to ask you, what's your favorite food? No, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, so much conversation about food.
I think it's a fair question. It's okay.
Okay. I think it's gratitude.
I love being vulnerable.
Give me a big smile.
I don't know, just resilient.
How do I start? I'm a woman entrepreneur. I started my own business at the time when men were not ready to see woman as an entrepreneur. Things have changed now.
I think wild.
Light.
Light?
Yes.
Along with passion, there has to be a little madness also.
Maybe a sponge.
Eternal nomad. I think I am that.
What's my favorite word? Love.
One big smile.
Okay, take 3.
Namaskar, good evening. A humble request to one and all to please take their seats as we are going to begin shortly. आप सभी से निवेदन है कृपया अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। हम कुछ ही क्षणों में कार्यक्रम का आरंभ करने जा रहे हैं। सर्वे મહેમાનો ને વિનંતી પોતપોતાનું સ્થાન ગ્રહણ કરે। થોડી જ વારમાં કાર્યક્રમની શરૂઆત થવા જઈ રહી છે। ધન્યવાદ।
What would be your favorite word?
Favorite word? Wow, that's a, let me think for a second, huh? I think I love the word empathy.
It defines me. Zen. Favorite word. Reinvention.
Fafda chutney jalebi is like a thing. So you must have heard a lot of people talk about how people celebrate Dussehra because of Fafda jalebi.
I want to ask you, what's your favorite food? Sorry.
Yeah, so much conversation about food.
I think it's a fair question. It's okay.
Okay.
I think it's gratitude. I love being vulnerable.
Give me a big smile.
Namaskar. A humble request to one and all to please keep their mobile phones on silent mode. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai ઓમ શાંતિ શાંતિ શાંતિ. આપ સર્વેને ગુજરાત દિવસની શુભકામનાઓ. જેને મારી ભાષા સમજાતી નથી એ બીજું કોઈ પણ હોય, ગુજરાતી નથી. આપણે ગુજરાતીઓ ખૂબ સરળ સહજ સ્વભાવના, પોતાની જાત ઉપર હસવા ટેવાયેલા છીએ. હસી કાઢીએ છીએ, હસવામાં કાઢીએ છીએ, નિરાંતે સુખપૂર્વક જીવતા હોઈએ છીએ, જલસાની જિંદગી હોય છે. The earth revolves around sun. We revolve around food. You and I in this beautiful world, wherever we go, our food follows. Obesity does not run in our family. The problem is nobody runs in our families. Thepla is our bread, athanu is our butter, khandvi is our sushi, khakra is our Pringles, and masala chai is our Red Bull. It's just a matter of time when we'll have our own KGF, Khandvi Gathia Fafda Chaat House. Our ABCD starts with B for business, A for Ahmedabad, C for chai, D for ઢોકલા. ગુજરાતી ફંડા બહુ સિમ્પલ હોય છે. લેપટોપ ભલે લગેજમાં જાય, થેપલા તો હેન્ડબેગમાં જ જવા જોઈએ. નમસ્કાર, હું છું ધ્વનિત. ઘણા લાંબા સમય પછી, એક લાંબા અંતરાલ પછી આ રીતે ફેસ ટુ ફેસ આપ સૌને મળવાનું થઈ રહ્યું છે. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ ફોર બિંગ પ્રેઝન્ટ હિયર ઓન ધીસ મોમેન્ટસ ઓકેઝન. આજની જે આપણી આવનારા સમયની હવે જે પ્રવૃત્તિ રહેશે એનો મનોભાવ શું હશે એ ભાવને પકડવાનો પ્રયત્ન કરીએ. એક કિસ્સો એનાથી શરૂઆત કરું છું. એક પ્રીસ્ટ કોઈ કોન્ફરન્સમાં જવા માટે પ્લેનમાં બેઠા. ટેક ઓફ થયું પ્લેન અને સીટ બેલ્ટ બાંધવાની અનાઉન્સમેન્ટ થઈ અને એના પછી તરત જ પાયલટનો અનાઉન્સમેન્ટનો અવાજ આવ્યો કે વી રિગ્રેટ ધ ઇનકન્વીનિયન્સ. We would not be able to serve you the refreshments. There is some storm outside. Please keep your seat belts fastened until the next announcement. બાકી બધા ડરી ગયા. પ્લેનમાં સન્નાટો છવાઈ ગયો. લોકો ચિંતાપૂર્વક એકબીજાની સામે જોઈ રહેલા. પરસેવો થઈ ગયો તો ભર એસીમાં. અને પ્રીસ્ટનું ધ્યાન એ વખતે એક નાનકડી છોકરી પર ગયું. એ પોતાની સીટમાં બેસીને એક બુક વાંચતી હતી. જાણે એને તોફાનની બહારના તોફાનની કાંઈ જ પડી ન હોય, નિશ્ચિંત હતી. પ્રીસ્ટને નવાઈ લાગી. એમના મનમાં તોફાનનો ધ્રાસકો હતો, પણ પેલી દીકરીના ચહેરા પર કોઈ ભાર નહોતો. 10 મિનિટ પછી તોફાન શાંત થયું, ટર્બ્યુલન્સ પૂરું થયું અને પ્લેન જ્યારે લેન્ડ થયું, બધાને હાશ થઈ. ત્યારે પ્રીસ્ટે પેલી બાળકીને જઈને પૂછ્યું કે બેટા, આટલું બધું તોફાન થયું તોય તને જરા પણ ડર ના લાગ્યો? મેં તને ગભરાતી જોઈ નહીં, તને બીક નહોતી લાગતી? ત્યારે છોકરીએ સ્વસ્થતાથી જવાબ આપ્યો, અંકલ, આ વિમાનના પાયલટ મારા પપ્પા છે. અને મને ખબર છે કે મારા પપ્પા પ્લેન ચલાવતા હોય તો મારે ચિંતા કરવાની જરૂર નથી. આને કહેવાય શ્રદ્ધા. અને આ જ શ્રદ્ધા એક દર્દી ડૉક્ટરમાં મૂકતો હોય છે. જેટલી શ્રદ્ધાથી આપણે કોઈ લિફ્ટમાં એન્ટર થઈએ અને આપણને વિશ્વાસ હોય છે કે એલિવેટર આપણને ઉપર લઈ જ જશે, એટલી જ શ્રદ્ધાથી આપણે કોઈ ડૉક્ટર પાસે જતા હોઈએ છીએ. કારણ કે આપણને જે વસ્તુનું જ્ઞાન નથી એ વસ્તુનું જ્ઞાન એમને છે. હોસ્પિટલના પગથિયા ચડતી વખતે આપણે શ્રદ્ધાપૂર્વક કંઈક મેળવવા જતા હોય છે. એ શું છે? સ્વસ્થતા છે. આપણે ત્યાં કહેવત છે, પહેલું સુખ તે જાતે નર્યા, પહેલું દુઃખ તે ફેરા ફર્યા, એવું કહેવાતું હોય છે, જેમાં હું નથી માનતો. પણ સ્વસ્થ સમાજ એ સ્વસ્થ વ્યક્તિઓથી રચાતો હોય છે. અ હેલ્ધી સોસાયટી ઇઝ અ ડ્રીમ ઓફ એવરી ડૉક્ટર. એન્ડ ઇન ધ કોવિડ પીરિયડ વી રિયલાઇઝડ કે આપણી જે આખી ઇકોસિસ્ટમ છે, જે અસ્તિત્વના સહઅસ્તિત્વમાં આપણે જીવી રહ્યા છે, એમાં આખી આ શૃંખલામાં ડૉક્ટર્સ નામની કડીનો શું મહત્ત્વપૂર્ણ રોલ છે, મેડિકલ ફ્રેટર્નિટીનો શું મહત્ત્વપૂર્ણ રોલ છે. આજે બધાને દિલથી વંદન કરીએ. દરેક એ વ્યક્તિ જેણે બીજાને સ્વસ્થ રાખવામાં પ્રયત્ન કર્યો હોય એ બધા માટે આજે મનમાં એવો ભાવ લાવીએ, એમને વંદન કરીએ. એન્ડ અબાઉટ કેડી હોસ્પિટલ. કેડી હોસ્પિટલ ઇઝ એન એક્ઝામ્પલ ઓફ ઇમેન્સ ટ્રસ્ટ between patients and doctors. It started about 4 years ago under the aegis of Sri Harihar Maharaj Charitable Trust. KD Hospital is spread across a massive 6-acre campus, providing 300 plus beds and catering for nearly 45 super specialities all under one roof. A multi-speciality approach enables each specialty to have the comfort of collaborating on complex cases, thereby ensuring a comprehensive assessment and treatment of the patients. Over the last 3.5 years, KD Hospital has treated more than 3.5 lakh patients and have carried out 15,000 plus surgeries. Super. Recently, His Excellency Mr. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, visited this hospital to understand the first CORI robotic system for knee replacement. KD Hospital is proud to have some of the most eminent and experienced doctors of the world who are authorities in their respective fields of specialization. It has top 10 surgeons in India who are well experienced in performing all types of critical surgeries. KD Blossom, જેને વધારવા માટે આપણે અહીંયા ઉપસ્થિત થયા છે. KD Blossom has been initiated as a clinical excellence program of KD Hospital. It aims to provide the best gynecology services, infertility services, full-term 9 months care, fetal care, breast clinic, maternity and obstetric services, neonatal and pediatric care, vaccination services, along with all the diagnostic services, pathology lab, radiological services, physiotherapy services, and proper diet and nutrition counseling. This makes KD Blossom one-stop destination for all mother and child care services. Now I invite our Honorable Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Z Irani ji, and all the dignitaries to please come forward and light the lamp and illuminate our hearts.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
It's an absolute privilege to have our Honorable Minister, Srimati Smriti Irani, our Union Minister for Women and Child Development. I request Dr. Anuja Desai to honor the Honorable Minister. She is India's youngest Union Cabinet Minister in the government and first woman to hold office as Union Minister for Human Resource Development and Union Minister of Textiles. I request Dr. Adit Desai, the co-founder and director of medical edtech startup Doc Tutorials and managing director of KD Hospital, Ahmedabad, to please welcome one and all and address the gathering.
A very good evening to all my fellow colleagues, esteemed guests and dignitaries present on stage. I'm going to keep this as short as possible. It gives me great pleasure and honor to stand in front of you and speak about a passion project that is very close to my heart. Blossom is a clinical excellence program of KD Hospital, started with a core belief at heart that every woman and child has the right to get the best healthcare services and treatment possible, which is affordable and accessible to the one in need. At Blossom, we cater to all the healthcare needs of women, namely gynecology, delivery services, high-end laparoscopic procedures, high-risk pregnancy, and breast clinic. And for children, we provide specialized and super specialized care, namely a neonatal and pediatric ICU, neurosurgeries, pediatric nephrology, pediatric cardiology, and general pediatrics. Our state-of-the-art facility center has helped turn so many dreams into reality through expert care and advanced technology and fulfill the dream of more than 1,500 parents. On the occasion of Gujarat Divas, we thought of coming up with a unique way to celebrate the women of Gujarat. And what better way than to recognize the 50 women of Gujarat who have paved the way for success and inspired millions of girls and women around the world. And who better to launch this than our very own Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Z Irani ji. Thank you, ma'am, for being a part of this evening and launching our book. And I'd also like to thank all the inspiring women who agreed to be a part of this initiative with KD, Amar Ramesh and team for making this project a reality, and my team at KD for helping me make our dream project a reality. Thank you so much.
And now, we'll launch this special book which talks about 50 inspiring women. And we have a lot of inspiring women who are a part of this book who are present here. So while we launch the book in their presence, I want to talk about them. બહુ જ ઓછો સમય લઈશ કારણ કે 50 નામ છે. 50 નામની સાથે જોડાયેલો એક શબ્દ છે જે એમના વ્યક્તિત્વને નિખારે છે. માત્ર એ શબ્દથી એમનો પરિચય આપી રહ્યો છું. ડૉક્ટર પ્રીતિ અદાણી, કમિટમેન્ટ. વંદના અગ્રવાલ, જોય. ડૉક્ટર હિના શાહ, love. Dr. Shefali Desai, compassion and passion. Priyanshi Jariwala, potential. Devina, sponge, because she believes that she likes to learn from everyone. Wherever she goes, she wants to learn. Sponge. Pabiben and Nupur, identity. Bindi Patel, passion. Mana Patel, alignment. Jhalak Trivedi Patel, storytelling. Falguni Vasavda, positivity. Urmi Pandya, Bhagavad Gita. Krinal Jani, fire. Dr. Sakira Begum, gratefulness. Nikita Maheshwari, resilience. Dr. Anar Mehta, empathy. Parul Parmar, father. Avni Varya, eternal nomad. Gira Shah, Jeev Daya. Devki, love. Shaina Shah, light. Suprava Mishra, Radha. Anushka Parikh, wild. Shalini Sheth Amin, reinvention. Kinjal Shah, persistence. Raksha Bharadia, emotional intimacy. Geeta Solanki, positivity. Shriya Damani, power. Esha Shah, phoenix. Chitra Singla, proactive. Shaili Shah, dream. Dr. Navneet Gill, resilience. Meera Erda, passionate. Reema Nanavati, Shikhu Chu. Nikita Tiwari, dreamer. Saloni Mehta, experimental. Aditi Parekh, zen. Bhumika, being centered. Usha Rada, Paramatma. Esther David, heart. Devangana Lashkari, life. Harmeet Kaur Dawar, gratitude. Tanya Shah, community. Anuja Amin, gratitude. Anjali Desai, empathy. Kumudini Lakhya, passion. Madness. Bijal Brahmabhat, leadership. Kajal Oza Vaidya, me, Manisha Love Kumar Shah, Sincerity, and Parul Jhaveri, Om. I humbly request all the inspiring women to please join us here along with Honorable Minister Smriti Irani ji and Dr. Ketan Desai sir to unveil the book with Amar Ramesh who has curated the book. A humble request to all the inspiring women કે જે ફર્સ્ટ સ્ટેપ છે અને સેકન્ડ સ્ટેપ છે ત્યાં if you could stand and એક સરસ ફોટોગ્રાફ આવી શકે. All the women who are on stage, the first step and the second step, if you could, જે stairs છે ને, જે સીડી છે ત્યાં if you could join. This photograph is certainly going to be a very precious memory for one and all. Thank you very much, ladies. Dr. Ketan Desai. He is a urologist by profession. He was the head of Medical Council of India. He also served as the president of Indian Medical Association from 2001 to 2003 and World Medical Association during 2016 and 17. In his initial days of the career, Dr. Ketan Desai taught at the premier medical institution, BJ Medical College, Ahmedabad. He served as the head of urology department. અને એકમાત્ર ગુજરાતી એવા જે તિરુપતિ મંદિરના ટ્રસ્ટીઝમાં એમનું નામ સંમેલિત છે. જોરદાર તાળીઓથી સ્વાગત કરીએ ડૉક્ટર કેતન દેસાઈ.
Good evening to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Union Minister, Madam Smriti ji, invited guests, my colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm overwhelmed to welcome all of you on this auspicious day of Gujarat Divas today. And at the same time, I'm also fully aware that you are all keen and eager to bask into the fragrance of versatility of our learned chief guest, Smriti Smriti ji, and I would not like to be an intruder in it. So believe me, trust me, I'll be very short and brief, as I have no intention to test your patience anymore. It's an honor for all of us to have a persona which is an apostle, not only in the excellence at one end, but a perfection at another. You name the field which she has picked up and not excel extraordinarily. Ascending to the pinnacle of the glory, a recognition through his versatile creativity at every step. And at present, she is holding and managing the ministerial portfolio of Women and Child Development at the Government of India, which we all know that is very near and dear to our Honorable Prime Minister, whose concept of making India rounds around the upliftment and empowerment of the femininity and womanhood. Well, friends, as we all know that inspiration cannot be evoked out of a mere imagination. It invariably requires a real lifetime role model who can be seen, visualized, observed, and then emulated in its true sense. And Mrs. Irani is a classic example worthy of emulation because, as I already said, she has excelled in one and every field which she has picked up as a pursuit. And you all agree with me that there cannot be a better illustrative example of women empowerment in its kaleidoscopic manifestation than Smriti. For today's function, I don't think there could have been a better person than her for this occasion to release the 50 success stories crafted, scripted by a woman of worth, of substance, of creativity, through which they have attained the height and become tall as beacons light to show the path for one and all those who are in wilderness, in spite of being having inner talent and capacity within themselves. As I have said, and I am sure that you are eager to listen to her pearls of wisdom through her inimitable style, dominated by fluency, flair, elegance, and thought process plagued with out-of-box imaginations in unison. Hence, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming her for her gracious presence, I withdraw myself so as to enable all of us to get mesmerized and swayed by her pearls of wisdom in an absolute eloquent manner. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. And now, the moment that you have been waiting for. I request Honorable Minister Srimati Smriti Irani to share her thoughts with all of us, but she has specially requested that she wants it in a different format altogether. The format is, वो संवाद करना चाहती हैं आपके साथ. बहुत कम ऐसे पॉलिटिशियंस होते हैं जो आते ही ये कहते हैं कि आप पूछो सवाल, मैं जवाब देने के लिए तैयार हूँ. तो उनकी ये उनका जो अंदाज है, उनकी जो स्टाइल है, आने निखालसता આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ, આજે સહજ ભાવ છે, એના માટે જોરદાર તાળીઓ. એમણે સંવાદ કરવો છે માત્ર તમારા સવાલોથી. તો તમારા મનમાં જે પણ સવાલ હોય છે આપ અત્યારે એમને પૂછવા માંગતા હો, પૂછી શકો છો.
Check.
Thank you, Dhwanid. I was given a call for a unique invitation. કેતનભાઈએ કહ્યું કે બેન, અમારે ગુજરાતની 50 ઇન્સ્પાયરિંગ વિમેન, એમની જર્ની, એમનું વખાણ કરવો છે. અને આપને હું વિનંતી કરું છું કે આપ અમદાવાદ પધારો અને આ કાર્યક્રમમાં આપ सम्मिलित થાઓ. Now, I've had the privilege of knowing him for 8 years. And never has my residence ever been in receipt of a call from him. And I asked him, Ketan bhai, સાચું કહો, ભાભીએ કહ્યું છે? And as polite that he is, he grumbled a little bit and then accepted. So it's always inspiring to see a man who toes the line well. To all those women who encompass this lovely book, my compliments to the Desai family. For the underwriting in the book is not just 50 inspiring women, but women that boys and girls should read about. The fact that women cannot be inspiration for women and young girls alone, that they can inspire men to change, to lead, to be more compassionate is what is to be celebrated today. But there is one thing I disagree on. One would presume that this book encompasses stories that are complete. They are not. There are 50 women who are work in progress. There are 50 women who have just begun. There are 50 women who are not yet done. So if I leaf through this lovely book, what is the one thing and the one word, as Dhwanit has been professing often, that inspires me? I would indulge this book with a quote from Vandana Agarwal. She says that her favorite word is joy, and joy from within. That is her inspiration. और आज की आपाधापी में to be joyful is one of the biggest tasks any human being is faced with. To be a woman and be joyful is more challenging. So Vandana ji, I think that this word that inspires you should inspire one and all. That it is only when we are joyful from within that we become without malice. And today, when I leaf deeper into the book, I have a young lady who is photographed well here, but she uses that as a business opportunity. Shaili Shah, are you in the audience? Now, Shaili is somebody who is running an enterprise which is dedicated to jewelry. અને ધ્વનિત કહેતો હતો કે ગુજરાતીઓ માટે A for Ahmedabad, B for business. There is nobody who can better exemplify it than Shaili. શૈલીને લાગ્યું હશે કે કેતનભાઈએ ચોપડી તો કાઢી છે એટલે હું મારી જેટલી પ્રોડક્ટ્સ છે હાથમાં પહેરી ફોટા પાડી લઉં. And Shaili has done that stupendously well. My compliments, Shaili. આમાંથી એક બંગડી એવી છે જેને હું લઈશ તો રાતના ઈરાની સાહેબનો ફોન આવશે તને. Many stories are here which possibly should have been told before. Women who have graduated from the MIT, women who are surgeons, women who find joy in food. Isha, my compliments from a fellow foodaholic. When Dhvanit said કે ગુજરાતી એટલે handbagમાં થેપલા હોવા જોઈએ, I had the deepest privilege of landing in San Francisco 4 days ago, and what greeted me was definitely thepla and chunda from home. So you can take a Gujarati out and put the Gujarati in a methi, but that Gujarati can never be devoid of thepla, chunda and achar. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what life is all about. What is of sustenance to us, and I speak as a woman, is not just that thepla, but the love with which it's made. What sustains us is not just that sweet and sour chunda, but the sweetness and at times the sourness of our relationships. And what is athanu for us is that success that doesn't come easy. It comes all spiced up, leaving a taste behind never to be forgotten. So I wish you ladies well. May your life, which is vibrant now, forever have that vibrancy, for you inspire not just women today, but also the women of tomorrow. My compliments and best wishes. આજે ગુજરાત ગૌરવ દિવસ છે અને આજના દિવસે ગુજરાતની ગૌરવ અને ગૌરવશાળી દીકરીઓ અને બહેનોનો આપે નમન કર્યો કેતનભાઈ આપને અને વિશેષ અલકા ભાભીને ખૂબ ખૂબ અભિનંદન અને આભાર. Dhvanit. So as Dhvanit says, I have left myself open for questions only from citizens and not from journalists.
I'm Dr. Neeta Thakre, and the question is, what are the plans for women and child development by the government?
When the Prime Minister took office in the year 2014, his first priority was to put women at the center of governance. For years in our history, and especially our democratic history, we spoke about leadership which said we need to empower women. But the Prime Minister brought about a tectonic shift in the narrative and said that if you seek to empower India, then make women central to that empowerment. And that is why the narrative and governance process has changed from women's development to women-led development. I'm sure every woman who is here today knows that not a single woman in her entire life had ever walked up to a politician and said, મારી પાસે ટોયલેટ નથી. The fact that the Prime Minister made it his first agenda, the fact that he made 11 crore households have an individual toilet specially for women, begs the question, imagine if he had not done so. The fact that the Prime Minister said Let's ensure that women have access to financial institutions so that if a woman wants to be entrepreneurial, she has access to credit. He started the Jan Dhan Yojana, and the fact today 25 crore women have a bank account for the first time in their lives. Imagine if he had not done so. The fact that our country has had a female Prime Minister, but it is Prime Minister Modi who for the first time, and doctors would agree, had a protocol administratively set for menstrual hygiene speaks volumes. And the fact that for the first time from the ramparts of the Red Fort, a Prime Minister says, I have made sanitary napkins available for 1 rupee, speaks about the journey that we have incurred thus far. So today, as just a minuscule representative in his cabinet, I can say that gone are the days when there would only be one Mahila Bal Vikas Mantralaya for women. Today you have the Prime Minister taking up the female cause. And what a better time to live in India.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question. I'm here.
Haji.
Hi.
सो ये अमर रमेश हैं जिन्होंने इस बुक को क्यूरेट किया है. He is from Tamil Nadu.
I know. So my compliments on behalf of all the ladies. I think everything about their persona was brought out beautifully by you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's
There
such
is
an
so
honor.
much dignity in every photograph.
Thank you.
And every photograph speaks volumes about their stories and their steeliness and their potential.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, ma'am.
It is rare for a man to get a compliment from 51 women.
So I was just, I just flew from Detroit, and just a couple of days back when I checked the travel advisories, and I was at the US consulate website, one of the advisory was do not travel alone, and especially if you are a woman, do not travel alone to India. That really...
Yeah, we should have one for New York as well.
Yeah, so that really pained me, and so for me, I always think, you know, like to negate negativity, we have to do more positivity.
There's always negativity about a nation with potential. So that those who were for too long accustomed to India standing like this now cannot handle an India which looks them right in the eye and says, we are Atmanirbhar. So when you talk about women's rights, and I'm sorry I am superseding your profession and possibly the angst that you felt when you saw the advisory, it would be extremely inhuman of me to do a per capita crime against women comparative between nations and our country. Let me give you an example of how we can take pride in the fact that Indian men and women have decided to step up for a new India. During the pandemic, there was a legislation that was passed which was pending since the 1960s. It was about the medical termination of pregnancy over 24 weeks. Now imagine a medical termination at pregnancy, which is a contentious issue in Detroit. That legislation was passed by a male prime minister, and not a single Indian man opposed a female's right to have her pregnancy medically terminated. That tells you which country has men who stand up for women. Insofar as crime against women, today the Prime Minister has ensured that over 700 districts have a one-stop crisis center. We have 35 helplines where we've served collectively to help give support to women who are victims of violence, and that number is 70 lakhs. The issue is, for too long you have seen the West berate India, but the fact remains that today India is the only country in the world where you have seen the Prime Minister ensure that apart from issues like nutrition, which has 9 crore beneficiaries, we even have projects like Startup India, Stand Up India, which were not gender inclined, but where the capital which is to be given for enterprise, 80% of those beneficiaries are women, which means they competed with men and they were better at their jobs, and that is why they got access to credit. So take pride in what the women in your country have done. We will handle the criticism, don't worry.
Oh, one more man to ask a question. Please
Ajay.
introduce yourself. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, over here, I think today is a Women's Day kind of a thing, so I don't think there are too many men asking questions over here.
No, yeah,
But
one just did, unless you don't count
not
him
too
as
many,
one.
ma'am, I
Huh.
said. So I have a question here from the men's side.
And who made you that representative?
Ma'am, I'm a representative from myself.
Achha.
So what I want to know, ma'am, these are these 50 women who are inspiring us every day, but they're also questioning men every day. So I want to ask that question that they ask us. How is it, or what is the secret of you having your skin so shiny, radiant, and shimmering all the time?
You know, gentlemen, what is your name?
My name is Ruchir Parekh, ma'am.
Huh, you're Aditi's husband?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Aditi, you have a problem at home. You have a man who thinks that the only question he can ask a female politician is why her skin is so good.
Ma'am, that's because we are asked
That
this
he would
question.
never ask a male politician that question means leave the rest of Gujarat, inspire him and train him first. The fact that you would think that a female politician and all the questions that you would possibly think of is why my skin is so radiant, that's because I keep the men in check.
मेरे लिए कोई फरियाद नहीं रहेगी, मैं हर जगह जाऊंगा, you don't worry.
And for
I
the
will come to
record,
you.
ध्वनित भी उतना ही चमक रहा है. चलो.
अच्छा, जो सबको चमकाती हैं उनसे बात करते हैं.
હેલો મેમ.
Hi, Isha.
અમદાવાદ આવ્યા છો તો શું ખાઈને જશો?
હું હમણાં actually ગાડીમાં ટકાટક ખાઈને આવી છું આ મોરથી.
And if you had to make one Gujarati food, the national food of India, what would that be?
Oh my. You want a food war in Gujarat?
You said you were a fellow foodaholic.
Well, I told myself this morning when I left the national capital कि गम्मे તેમ થઈ જાય હું આજે ફાફડા જલેબી નહીં ખાઈશ. But I broke that promise to myself. I broke it at 12 o'clock. I looked at it. I consumed it, not much. Then I kept telling myself from 12:30 onwards till 5, ગમ્મે તેમ થઈ જાય હું have more નું ટકાટક નહીં ખાઈશ. And I did. So you do a great disservice to me when you tell me which food to pick. As long as it's made with love, it can be the national food.
Hi ma'am, I'm Dr. Shefali Desai. I'm a breast surgeon. Firstly, I want to thank the Desai family for putting us at this high pedestal. But truly, you are an inspiration, as I told you when I was on the stage. So my question to you, rather maybe a suggestion, that you have been, as you rightly said, doing a lot of work on the menstrual hygiene, and Modi sir has also said this. I have been doing a lot of work on the breast cancer awareness because I see a lot of women suffering from breast cancer, not only from the urban area, but from the rural area also. So can our government do something for spreading awareness, for their checkups? Because when they come to us, many a times, they come at such a late stage that we can hardly do justice to them. And it is definitely a curable disease if a woman comes early to us.
So as somebody who has a family member who has survived breast cancer, let me say this. Before 2014, when people, especially internationally, spoke about two kinds of cancers relating to women, one is the breast cancer and the other is the cancer of the cervix. People felt that culturally, it is a conversation that is not very popular in our country. When the Prime Minister announced the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which covers 10 crore families across 25,000 hospitals, one of the most blessed outcomes of it is that 7 crore women in our country have got themselves screened for breast cancer and cancer of the cervix. Now understand that Ayushman Bharat is for the poorest of the poor, which means that the cultural bias against us stands now demolished. So how do we propagate? The government has facilitated the screening and the treatment. How do we propagate it? I think functions like this. On the third row behind you is the Dr. Cell convener of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Dharmendra Gajjar. Now, he, apart from his other works, what is he doing? I appeal to everybody who's sitting here today. The Prime Minister has undertaken a nutrition program which envelops in it all the treatments that women deserve under the Ayushman Bharat Yojana and the information spread about it. But what we have done through our party is to ensure that children who have been identified as severely, acutely malnourished, their nutrition is adopted by an individual. In my party, 36,000 karyakartas have stood up. And now they are looking after 36,000 children in the entire state of Gujarat. So my appeal to you, madam, is if you have the time, Dr. Gajjar is available. Please, if you'd like to volunteer and adopt the nutritional need of at least one child, you actually help bring change to the child's life and that of the mother. And through that campaign, I'm sure we can also propagate the need for screening of the breast cancer as well.
That will be great. I'll really appreciate that help from you, yeah.
I look forward to your support.
Thank you.
Any more questions about my glowing skin?
Hello.
Hi.
So I had a question that my name is Trishla. So I had a question that એક છોકરીને હંમેશા થોડી વધારે મહેનત કરવી પડે એક સ્ટેજ પર પહોંચવા માટે. Do you still think that you are at a certain stage અને આજે તમે કોઈ એવા રૂમમાં બેઠા છો જેમાં તમારા કરતાં વધારે મેન છે and you still have to work a little harder even at this day?
My friend, if I have to do anything to beat a man, even if it means working harder, I will.
That's
But
great.
the issue is, the question you position is prejudicial unto itself. When you try to pursue excellence, who are you trying to beat? A gender, a thought, and what are you trying to achieve? So when I enter a room, it does not matter who's sitting in that room, man, woman, or any other gender. What matters is how many like-minded people can I find to reach my goal. I think when you speak about gender parity is not about making men the enemy. Gender parity is to ensure that men become equal partners in ensuring gender justice. And those men who do not step up often get left behind.
We have one more question. Yes, ma'am. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Dr. Darshana Pandya, practicing gynecologist and proud Karyakarta of Bharatiya Janata Party. So, on behalf of all Karyakartas, first of all, I thank you that you enlightened about our projects, mainly child malnutrition. As she said, we did first of all a national on birthday of our respected
તમે
Prime Minister.
ગુજરાતીમાં વાત કરી શકો છો. અમેઠી જઈને હજી હું ગુજરાતી ભૂલી નથી.
એના માટે we are very proud of you on behalf of entire women fraternity. અમેઠીમાં તમે ઝંડા કાઢી દીધા. So we congratulate you. As Madam said, Prime Minister જે આપણા ગુજરાતના પનોતા પુત્ર છે એટલે અમને ગુજરાતી બધાને એના માટે ખૂબ ગૌરવ છે અને એમના જન્મદિવસે અમે એનો પણ વર્લ્ડ રેકોર્ડ કર્યો છે સર્વાઇકલ કેન્સર સ્ક્રીનિંગ ઓન સેમ ડે એક જ દિવસમાં હાઈએસ્ટ સર્વાઇકલ સ્ક્રીનિંગ અમે કર્યા એનો પણ વર્લ્ડ રેકોર્ડ કર્યો છે ડૉક્ટર શેલ ભાજપ તરફથી 8,000 યર 8,500
Maybe
cervical
you can
screening.
all partner for the screening of the breast cancer as well.
And I am humbled to share that I have won the national award for this Brahma Kumari in India at our national conference, Lucknow. Second campaign that we did was this Suposhan. Yes, Suposhan Yojana. And that we are carry forward again on this 15th May for screening of pregnant women for detection of intrauterine growth retarded children. That જેને સાદી ભાષામાં કહું તો કે જેને ગર્ભાવસ્થામાં જે બાળકને પૂરતું પોષણ નથી મળી રહ્યું એવા ફિટસીસ એને અમે એન્ટીનેટલી ડિટેક્ટ કરી અને અમે પ્રયત્ન કરવાના છીએ કે જે જન્મે એ પણ સુપોષણ સાથે જન્મે. I wanted to share this information with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, we have a question from here, a young lady. Please.
No beauty tips, right?
Hi, no,
Okay.
not at all. Hi, મારું નામ ઝીલ શાહ છે, હું એક લોયર છું અને નાની NGO છે. I work with kids. The question is, when you won Amethi, I'm sure you must have faced a lot of questions that how was the process and how did you make it? But there are a lot of women here, including me, who have faced defeat, and I'm sure that you are also one of them. What advice would you like to give us that when we face defeat in this world where everybody is winning around us, what should we do, you know, because we face identity crisis and somebody who is in the sector of power, how would you, you know, suggest us that how we should lead life further?
My advice?
Yes. And number two, that there are a lot of powerful women in India, but why so less powerful women in Indian politics? So 2 questions. Thank you.
My advice is never ask for advice. Have you ever seen a man ask another man for advice? Why do only women need advice as to what to do? Now, I faced defeat in that very constituency in the year 2014. Everybody advised me, "Ave jawa de." And I said from that day onwards that next time the BJP will win. The issue is, if we are proactively working towards gender justice, parity, women need to stop asking women openly in public forums for advice. You have never seen a man ask a male politician, "Hu shu karu sahib mane kaho." Never happens. And insofar as part 2 of your question, how do you think emancipation happens? Today, across over 6 lakh panchayats, over 50% of the public representatives are women. That is one of the world's greatest political powers, which does not get spoken of, but it can never be denied. So if you want to look at women in power politics and power politics, look to a panchayat closest to you.
Last 2 questions.
Yeah. Smriti ji, I am Shefali's husband and Ketan's classmate. We went to medical school together.
You're giving a disclaimer. That means the question is going to be potent. Haji.
You are in a position of power. We are all doctors, and I'm pleading on behalf of the female doctors. It could be extended to the male doctors as well, that this Consumer Protection Act is a little lopsided these days. What I want to tell you is that patients, for very flimsy reasons, pull the doctors into the consumer court. Something like, "Mane bahut pain thayu, mane operation pachi bleeding thayu." You just file a case and you pull the doctor into the consumer court. We are ready to fight that also. But if I have operated on a patient from Calcutta, the patient can file a court case in Calcutta and you are called upon to attend that case in Calcutta. Jare jubani thai ke bhai tamaru first hearing karvanu che, you can't expect a female doctor very busy to be pulled all the way to Calcutta, for example, to appear before the opposite lawyer who will ask questions.
You know, sir, this is the kind of argument people position so that women do not get positions of power and responsibility in big organizations. કે આ બેન છે એની ઉપર કેસ થશે એટલે બેનને જવાબદારી જ નહીં આપું. So I think that when you speak about the Consumer Protection Act, I'm sure that our judicial system is such that injustice does not happen. I am extremely mindful of the fact that no matter what legislation, it is bound to be tested at the altar of truth. But to say, act change karo કારણ કે બહેનોની ઉપર કેસ થશે is a weak argument.
ના ભયો પર પણ ના થવો જોઈએ.
So my position is this, sir, If the truth is evidenced, that truth will set you free.
We are ready to face the truth, but why should we be pulled all the way to Chennai, for example, or Calcutta, for example, if a patient has come all
Depends
the
on
way?
the patient you're treating. So I will only say this, if you're making a public declaration that patients from other states should not come to you, then that is a position that you are taking. I cannot comment on it.
No, I'm not saying. Let the case be in Ahmedabad. We are ready to face the case.
Like I said, sir, it is a democratic country. You cannot decide which citizen exercises their judicial right where.
Very nicely put, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. So she has come all the way from the last row.
Hi.
Because I requested her to come here because the mic's range was not as
No
much.
problem.
But she's very enthusiastic about the question.
Thank you so much, Dwanit. And ma'am, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
Not
Can you hold
from
up the mic because the
Yes,
audio...
yes. Not from the TV series, but after you joined the politics, I became a huge fan of yours. So I'm Ankita Patel. I'm a happiness coach, and I
Oh,
call
we really
myself.
need a lot of you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. I call myself a feminist, and in fact, I've spoken a lot about menstrual hygiene. And I really wanted to ask you, can we do anything to normalize periods? Because, you know, I give you my example in the corporate office also. I am that way very shameless. You can say that I will carry my sanitary pad in my hand and I'll go to washroom to change it. But I have seen girls, you know, they hide their sanitary pads in maybe purse or a book or a diary, and then they'll go to washroom to change it. Can we do something to normalize
So when
it?
the Prime Minister speaks from the Red Fort, that is one of the most decided narrative shifts when he says sanitary pads for 1 rupee. There could have been no better mainstreaming of an agenda, but all of us societally have to follow suit. And that change has to begin from home.
Ma'am,
Yes.
all right. Too many people
Yeah,
asking
go ahead.
questions. Okay. Please go ahead. Please.
Hello, ma'am. This is Geeta Solanki, and my first of the awards was from you, Bharat Ki Lakshmi. I remember that. I work in menstrual hygiene sector, and it's a social enterprise. I mainly work for rural and semi-urban, and we make reusable cloth sanitary pads. My question is that as a social entrepreneur, as a women's social entrepreneur, at times it gets very difficult to approach the government sector. You know, like going through the different stages and the different departments. Now that we talk about sanitary pads, which is 1 rupee, 2 rupee, and when we talk about environmental friendly options that are available in the market, why does it take a lot of time for, say, government agencies or government to recognize that such a product is there or such a services are available, and it can be widespread across
Because
these
consumer product and their usage have to go through many level of checks and balances.
Right.
It is a legal assurance through
Right.
authorities when a product is so certified.
Right.
And the fact that it is a menstrual hygiene product brings with it additional responsibility so that no fly-by-night operator gets a certificate at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, so I just, because of that, I'll just mention that it is the first time in India that BSI standards have been launched this year for cloth pads. And still when we go to the government agencies, because we've been encouraged to approach them, they still are unaware that such a product is there and the BSI standards have been, proved and they are there in place. So it's just a little bit of more time-consuming thing. So I don't know if it is because of women enterprise or it is because it's a social cause or it's just the regular.
No, I would not like to victimize myself as a woman.
True.
Just because some man did not read up about BI standards.
True. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes.
Last
the lady
question.
Is there, and I think Miss Agarwal, since I started with her, she can take the last question. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Myself, Dr. Alpa. I'm working as a vice principal in one of the physiotherapy college. According to you, how will you define a woman's success? That is my question.
Incomplete.
Yeah.
क्योंकि हम हर दिन एक नया शिखर तलाशते हैं और बनाते हैं. हम हर दिन एक नया लक्ष्य निर्धारित करते हैं. तो जो अविरल है उसको आप कहते हैं कि मर्यादा में अपने आप को परखो, जांचो और प्रमाणित करो कि तुम सफल हो। मैं आज जो हूँ वो कल नहीं थी, और आगे जो होने वाली हूँ शायद वो सफलता को नई तरीके से परिभाषित करे।
मेरे भी 2 सवाल हैं, लेकिन पहले इनको पूछने देते हैं।
Yes, the joyful lady.
Yeah. So I want to know what gives you joy and which is your favorite pet project, initiative, and why?
Madam, I've had the privilege of writing the draft national education policy after 3 decades in this country.
Wow.
I've had the privilege, with the Prime Minister's blessing, of dedicating to the country India's first MOOCs platform. I've had the privilege of giving the first national ranking framework, and Ketan Bhai knows this, for all educational institutions in this country. And I've had the privilege of leading, with the Prime Minister's blessings and support and his guidance, manufacturing of PPE suits in this country, and in 3 months we became the 2nd largest exporters in the world. So if you ask me,
there's a long list.
I've been blessed with many an opportunities to serve. The gentleman said that I'm in a position of power. I'm not. I'm in a position of responsibility. So I'm grateful that I've been given the opportunity to serve my country, and that I do so responsibly is a blessing that I hope I always receive from God. And in terms of what brings me joy, I think as a mother I am expected to say children. As a wife I am expected to say husband. As a daughter I am expected to say parents and in-laws. But if you look at the bonhomie between me and Isha, we would all say food. So yes, I think that the idea is joy is not plentiful. We have to look for it every day. The fact that we have capacity to look for it is in itself a great joy. And the fact that we have the capacity to embrace it is life's greatest blessings.
Very well said. Thank you.
તારા 2 પ્રશ્નો છે?
હા છે.
બોલ.
તો સવાલ એ છે કે મેં એક પુસ્તક લખ્યું હતું થોડા વર્ષો પહેલાં, જેનું નામ છે મોર્નિંગ મંત્ર. રેડિયો પર હું જે બ્રોડકાસ્ટ કરતો હતો એમાં એક દિવસ વિમેન્સ ડેના દિવસે મેં એક લખાણ લખ્યું હતું કે પ્રશ્ન મારા મનમાં એ હતો કે હુ ઇઝ અ વુમન્સ બેસ્ટ ફ્રેન્ડ?
Nobody.
મને એવું લાગ્યું કે સાયન્સ ઇઝ,
એટલે તું મહિલા નથી. હા,
મને એવું લાગ્યું હતું કે સાયન્સ ઇઝ વુમન્સ બેસ્ટ ફ્રેન્ડ, કારણ કે સાયન્સે જે પણ ઇન્વેન્શન્સ કર્યા છે એણે આપણા બધાની લાઈફમાં જે સગવડો ઊભી કરી છે, રાઈટ ફ્રોમ અત્યારે મેન્સ્ટ્રુઅલ હાઇજીનની વાત થઈ રહી હતી, એ ઇન્વેન્શન્સ જે છે એ સાયન્સના છે.
નો.
હા, એટલે હું મારો પર્સપેક્ટિવ તો કહી દઉં. કોન્ટ્રાસેપ્ટિવ્સ હોય કે ઇવન સ્વતંત્રતા અભિવ્યક્તિની જ્યારે હોય ત્યારે જે પ્લેટફોર્મ્સ આપણે યુઝ કરીએ છીએ એ પણ બધા સાયન્સની દેન છે. પણ મને એવું લાગે છે કે સાયન્સ એક વસ્તુનું ઇન્વેન્શન હજી સુધી નથી કરી શક્યું, હાઉ ટુ સ્ટોપ રેપ. તો મને એમ થાય કે એવું ક્યારે થશે કે જ્યારે આપણે આ રૂગ્ણ માનસિકતા, જેને આપણે એક ઇલ મેન્ટાલિટી કહીએ કે અસ્વસ્થ માનસિકતા છે, એવો સ્વસ્થ સમાજ. મારે 2 દીકરીઓ છે, બહુ નાની છે, બહુ ઓછા લોકોને ખબર છે કે મારે 2 દીકરીઓ છે, ક્યારેક જાહેરમાં એની વાત નથી કરી. પણ મને ક્યારેક મનમાં આવો વિચાર આવે ખરો કે મારી દીકરીઓ મોટી થશે તો કેવા વાતાવરણમાં મોટી થશે. એક પિતા તરીકે મને મનમાં ક્યારેક આ એક અસુરક્ષા રહે છે. બાકી હું જીવનમાં
So when we stop looking at women as bodies and as souls, that's when it stops. When we stop looking at them as objects that are to be sexually destroyed and sexually berated, then it stops.
આ કેવી રીતે કરીશું એઝ અ સોસાયટી?
It has to begin with the men. Next question. તારા 2 હતા ભાઈ question. ઝડપથી પૂછ.
પૂછી લેવાલા.
Why? Because you're not asking me the second question. Let me tell you why I said women don't have a best friend. Every young girl who asked me a question today presumed that once you're successful, your struggles end as a woman. It does not. Every young girl who's watching me talk today might presume that once you're successful, you get many friends. You do not. A woman's best friend is herself, because she decides what she's going to sacrifice without even announcing it. She does so every day as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter. And that is why I said there is no best friend for a woman but herself.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Challenge hai.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, I actually don't have a question, but it's a suggestion, and I didn't have a platform where I can reach out to you, so I thought I'm going to
Microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Bolo ji.
So I'm going to take 15 seconds from everybody's life here to make this suggestion to you. We have so many initiatives that you've initiated, and there are a couple that the government's working on right now, wherein we are collecting a lot of data. Is there a way in which we can use federated learning? And that's something that one of my dearest friends is working on right now. Federated learning to create an ecosystem where we have evidence-based governance or policies that are
evidence-based governance.
Sorry?
There is evidence-based
Yes.
governance already.
Yeah, but can we also use cutting-edge technology that can help us? That would
There
be
is
great.
technology which is evidence-based. That is why 21 lakh crore rupees has gone into the bank accounts directly of Indians who were till then not understanding where their subsidy money is gone. And that is evidence-based and data-based, because that means that the government has engaged with the citizens directly. There is evidence-based engagement on governance. You are the only country in the world which was hit by the pandemic and did not give out a parchi, but you used CoWIN as an application to deliver vaccines free to 90% of your population.
That's commendable. Really appreciate it.
So I think that one of the greatest challenges in the world today is how do you feed people in a lockdown? You have 80 crore Indians receiving free ration for 25 months with not a single Indian being missed out. That does not happen if you don't have evidence-based and data-based governance.
Absolutely, ma'am. I totally agree to that. And I was thinking that let's, push a little bit further to the last mile.
I think that the last mile is when that delivery happens to all those citizens who've gotten vaccinated. What you have to be careful about is that in this exploration of data and analytics, would you impinge upon the government to break the privacy of every Indian and make it publicly available? That cannot be done. The government's first and foremost responsibility is, yes, use data to leverage delivery of services, but at the same time, protect the data of every citizen. That is their fundamental right.
Ma'am, this has to be the last question from here.
Oh my God. Yes, I know why. You are a match fixer, Dwanit.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, that lady who's asking me a question, why did I say Dwanit is fixing this match? I met this lady in the year 1998 on a platform called Femina Miss India. She stayed fit, I got fat. Her name is Sheetal.
Thank you for the compliments today, Smriti. But well, today, from 98 and the Miss India platform to this dome, today I represent an organization called ICECD, International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development, which since the last 36 years is creating women entrepreneurs across Gujarat, across India, tribal, rural, semi-rural, urban areas. Having reached out to and created more than 1 lakh entrepreneurs directly and more than 10 lakhs indirectly, there is a dream that the organization stands for, and there's a milestone path that's been created. We want to reach out to you and your department to take our movement forward to maximum number of women in the country. How do we do that? We've written to you a number of times, but somehow
That's because
not
you're
been able to
writing to
reach
the
you.
wrong department. The department for you to write is the Ministry of MSME. But however, for old time's sakes, I will make sure that you get the proper audience that you deserve in the ministry concerned.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Dwane, તું last કરીને 3 question પૂછી લીધા છે. Yes, madam.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
My name is Anuja Amin. I'm the founder of Circles of Safety, and we work towards prevention of child sexual abuse and promote personal safety. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for using these words. We've been using menstrual hygiene today. We've been saying rape. We've saying all these words which would never be spoken in a public place like this. So I think that is progress, first of all. And my question to you is, how do we bring this progress and these conversations to homes and to schools?
I think you've just begun. Yeah, my compliments, you've just begun.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
આ છેલ્લો સવાલમાં મને તો મારો ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ યાદ આવી ગયો. છેલ્લામાં the last interview that I had taken, તમારી સાથે જે વાતો કરી હતી. Do you remember?
Of course I do. You met me in 2013. You see me after 9 years on a public platform and interview me. You promised me 2 questions, but you ask one, you've come a long way.
તો એમણે એટલી સરસ રીતે જવાબો આપ્યા. આપણે એમને વર્ષો પહેલાં કંઈક જુદા રૂપમાં જોયા હતા, આજે જુદા રૂપમાં પ્રત્યક્ષ નિહાળ્યા છે. એટલે પેલું ગીત ખરેખર સાર્થક થયું. રિશ્તો કે ભી રૂપ બદલતે हैं, नए नए सांचे में ढलते हैं.
Spoken like a true man, he always wants the last word.
I request Dr. Erika Patel to please come forward for vote of thanks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if left to myself, today is the occasion where I would love to remain indebted to everyone who has so liberally and benevolently contributed in making this event a great success. I would like to record my sense of thankfulness to Honorable Madam Smriti Irani ji for her gracious presence and articulate wisdom that has been so diligently put across and would continue to echo for all times to come. I would equally like to record my gratitude to the photographer Amar Ramesh and his team for the phenomenal work on this project, and a big thank you to all the 50 inspiring women. In the same vein, I would like to thank the SPI Edge team. Unfortunately, they have not been able to come here, but they are the curators for this book and also involved in the entire citation process and choosing these women. I would like to sincerely thank all the guests and dignitaries who have agreed to come in such a short notice and grace this occasion. I know it for certain that particularly the number of hands that have catered and contributed to this event, revealed and unrevealed, are so many that putting them into a chronology would be tough and difficult. Therefore, on behalf of the entire team of KD Hospital, I express my unending gratitude to all of them for their generosity in unison. Thank you so much.
થેન્ક યુ સો મચ મેમ. અને આજની ઇવેન્ટ ખૂબ યાદગાર રહી. એ યાદગીરીના સ્મૃતિ ચિહ્ન રૂપે સ્મૃતિજીને એક સુંદર મજાની ભેટ આપવાની છે. આઈ રિક્વેસ્ટ ડૉક્ટર એરિકા ટુ પ્લીઝ. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ એવરીબોડી. સૌનું મંગલ થાય એ વાતથી આજનો કાર્યક્રમ પૂર્ણ કરીએ. સર્વેષામ સ્વસ્તિર્ભવતુ, સર્વેષામ શાંતિર્ભવતુ, સર્વેષામ પૂર્ણમ ભવતુ, સર્વેષામ મંગલમ ભવતુ, સર્વે ભવन्तु સુખિનઃ, સર્વે સन्तु નિરામયા, સર્વે ભદ્રાણિ પશ્યन्तु, મા કશ્ચિत् દુઃખભાગ્ ભવેत्. આપ સર્વે અહીંયા આવ્યા છો, આપનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. અને મહેમાન ગતિનો આનંદ માણતા જજો. પ્લીઝ હેલ્પ યોર સેલ્વ્સ વિથ delicious food that is going to be served to you. આજ સભાખંડમાં પાછળની સાઈડ આપ ક્ષુધા તૃપ્તિ કરી શકશો. થેન્ક યુ વેરી મચ. હેલો અચ્છા, આટલા બધા લોકો અહીંયા ઉપસ્થિત છે એટલે હું મારી જાતને રોકી શકતો નથી. અને આજે સ્ત્રી પુરુષ સમાનતા વિશે પણ ઘણી બધી વાતો થઈ, એટલા માટે મને એમ થાય છે કે અમારે કહી જ દેવું જોઈએ. આમ મેં રેડિયોમાંથી રિટાયરમેન્ટ લઈ લીધું ને, એટલે બધા જ કાર્યક્ષેત્રમાંથી રિટાયરમેન્ટ લીધું છે, પરંતુ એ રિટાયરમેન્ટ લેતા પહેલાં એક ફિલ્મ કરી હતી અને એ ફિલ્મનું નામ છે પેટી પેક. એ ફિલ્મ રિલીઝ થઈ છે, મારી છેલ્લી ફિલ્મ છે. And the film it talks about relationships, how a man treats a woman. So I request all of you કે પ્રચંડ લોકપ્રિયતાવાળી સાઉથ ઇન્ડિયન ફિલ્મ્સ અને બોલિવૂડ ફિલ્મ્સની વચ્ચે એક ગુજરાતી ફિલ્મ જે અત્યારે હાઉસફુલ જઈ રહી છે અમદાવાદમાં, તમને સમય મળે તો જોજો. નામ છે એનું પેટી પેક. થેન્ક યુ.